And tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello. I was, well, it was a little bit of a scramble to get everything ready because I almost forgot to upload the little video I have for you guys. And then I was like, oh, I need to sort out some sewing instructions for myself. And then I ended up being like 4 minutes early, and then I was almost late. That is my MO. If I'm early, I'll end up being late. So welcome. I was here so late cutting out my rainbow camp dress, and it was a mind bender. And I still didn't accomplish one thing, but this morning I was looking at it and I realized that it was impossible to do. So I feel a little better, but at the same time I'm like, if I would have known that, I may have done something different. So I have cut it, and I'm going to show you some. So I may even do a little video about it just because it's so mind-bending. But yeah, so I ended up going with I knew I wanted it diagonal like this. So it's on the bias. And so wait, I have a picture. Where is the picture? Let's see. Just so I can sort of point out like one of the challenges. Let me pull it up. Oh, here it is. Okay. I wish I probably could just share that screen, but that's okay. All right. And welcome everybody. I'm sorry I haven't said hello yet. I have a lot to talk about today. Okay, so here is the dress cut out, and it's half. So on the right side of the screen, that is my front, and the center, like along the table edge, that's the center front, right? And then this is the side seam is in the middle, and then the left side is the back. All right, so now I want you to just relax your mind a little bit so you can follow along. So do you see along the side seam, the stripes will match from front to back. The dart throws things off, but I correct it by the time I get to the skirt, and I even adjusted the bias so that they would match by the time I got to the hem. So that was a little bit of warping the bias, just not warping it, but just to kind of play with it so I could get it right. All right, so now I also want to call your attention to the fact that, remember, my side seam matches. Okay, so look at the diagonal. Can you see my cursor? You see this diagonal pink stripe in between the red and the light pink, and it hits the point of the front waist. It matches the skirt. The skirt hits the point of the front waist. Same with the back. It's a red one. Because I matched the side seam, I went with whatever happened, right? So there's the red stripe on the back, matching at the center back waist on the skirt and the bodice. But do you notice that the seam of the waist does not match to bodice to skirt? And I mean, you guys, it was so much, right? And remember, I had a serious constraint of fabric, even though I had probably 5 yards. It was tough. And so I realized like, oh shoot, well, I got all these things to match, but I didn't get my waist to match. But then I realized it wouldn't have been possible. The stripe would have had to be on the same diagonal as the bodice, because it's a one-way rainbow. So anyway, I just wanted to share you. This is what it's going to be. And then the sleeve is let's see, what did I decide? The sleeve was a challenge. I wanted 2 matching sleeves, and I got 2 matching sleeves, but I cannot remember if they are on the length grain or the cross grain. I can't remember. We'll see. It's a mystery. So anyway, I did it, but it really taxed me. I was exhausted by the time I left. So anyway, hi Delwyn, happy Easter. Hi Aisha. Hi Teresa, welcome. Guten Tag. Hi Julie. Hi Christina. Hi Lean. Oh Lean, I saw you posted a new make in the guild. I haven't gotten to see it yet. Hi Deb. Hi Margaret. Hey Elena. Hi Leah. Hi Malin. So do you feel like you shoot yourself in the foot trying to accommodate us? I hope not. I mean, this is what I wanted. This was my vision with this fabric. Once it came into my head, I played around with little drawings. They were on paper of doing the rainbow, and I was like, this is what I want. And I hope it looks good. Like the idea of it and the photo of it, it looks very like, wow. But it might look ridiculous when I'm wearing it. You know, I don't know. I haven't really played with it. It also means I can't have a chest pocket because my scraps, it has to be the perfect spot, and I can have a pocket way up here. I can have a pocket that doesn't match, but I cannot get a pocket that matches, and I don't want to disrupt the bias. I'm going to take out my pocket marking here. So I don't at all feel, and when it's my project, I don't ever feel that way. So if you had a million fabric, it could be done. Exactly, Julie. Yeah, it couldn't have been done because it's a one-way. And it's just some of those things where you just don't realize it, you know, until you've cut a lot of matching things. Maybe that would have occurred to me. So, yep, I gave up. Oh, okay, I gave up my back yoke. I think that was a good call because of how I wanted to cut this, you know. As far as the style of the dress, I think the yoke is cuter, but for the fabric I'm using, I think this works better. I think the yoke would have disrupted it. Not to mention, I don't know what grain I would have picked. I guess I could have picked, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're not there anymore, right? Yeah, there's no way I could have cut this on stream, Mullen. I was here till 7 o'clock last night. So I had oh, hi Shelby, how's it going? I had a little bit of work to do, like a half-hour work to do for someone, and then I immediately got to cutting it. But that I did the muslin like right away, and I have the muslin to show for you. So this muslin, I used my existing fabric from that dress, and I cut my pieces. So I took it all apart, the muslin, because it's a lot of muslin. I took it apart, and then I laid my pattern pieces on there as if there was no waist seam. And I left the like yoke seam in there. I didn't really care. I just used it as fabric. So just so you know. So here is my muslin, and it's really short. One sleeve, so it kind of pulls. But I think like in muslin, this is doing pretty good. Like muslin's not great, you know. I decided to cuff my sleeve, so I drafted that on the fly while I was cutting out my rainbow fabric, but I can show you the pattern, show you how to do that if you want. So, but yeah, I think that this is, I miss having my waist. But hey, you know what? This is pretty good. And I'm wearing over pants and a camisole, so, you know. But yeah, I'm good with this. And here is, let me hide this. So some photos. My dress form's a little smaller than me. So yeah, I'm pretty good with this. I like the cuff sleeve too. I think that'll be cute. So that's where we're at. So if you missed yesterday, I showed how to turn a shirt into, a pullover shirt into a dress. You don't have to do pullover. And I gave some options. And I sort of just kind of noodled on a lot of things. Right now, what I need to do is figure out my sewing steps. Usually I write like a quick list of sewing steps when it's not my pattern. Like I know on my patterns, I know what I want to do, but on someone else's, I'll pin it like right here on this little magnet board in front of me. But today I have kind of a conundrum. I want my casing, my little draw cord casing, to straddle the waist seam. So it's going to cover up this seam going from waist to bodice. And I think in some ways that's going to soothe my non-matching woes. I also didn't get any green rulers, which is kind of crazy until the very bottom of the hem. So I'm going to use a green ruler cut on the length grain, straddling it. Because of this, I have to sew this dress in kind of a reverse order. So if you are sewing this and you aren't quite sure how to, you are using all of your pattern pieces in your sewing instructions that came with your shirt, and you can just follow those. That shouldn't have changed anything. And if you want, you can take your casing. You don't have to do what I'm about to do by hi, Terry. Like, I would like to cover the seam juncture up because I think it'll look cool that way. Oh, this is bias. Let's see, bias, these are pockets, and then the casings are at the bottom somewhere. I have my bin all organized, and then I'll start just rummaging and disrespecting my organization. It's kind of terrible. Oh, is this my sleeves? Oh, shoot. I really need to respect my bin. Oh, yeah, here's my sleeves. Okay, so let me show you those. Okay, so I would suggest if you don't want to do what I'm doing, you can assemble your whole bodice and then lay your casing on top of the bodice, lining it up to the raw edge down here. You know, turn this under, hem the front here, turn this under, and then top stitch it. You need your whole bodice together, including the side seam, because remember, we need this to be a continuous hole when we go, into the back. So that's what I would do. And then you can attach, you put your pockets on your skirt, and then put your skirt together, and then attach your skirt to your bodice. So basically you're creating a bodice and a skirt, and then you're going to attach it down here at the seam. Okay, so that's what I would normally do. I think that's a more regular way to sew this. Because I want to straddle my seam, I want to do this, right? I want to straddle it like this. I'm going to have to put this together where I need to think about it too. And the fact I'm going to put this out of my way so I don't lose anything. I can't do my center front seam to put my collar on until after my casing is on. This means that my bodice needs to be attached to my skirt, get my casing on, and then do the collar. So I'm literally doing this in the reverse order. So let me show you also my cuffed sleeve here. So I'm really glad I got some green on the sleeves too. All right, so the quick and dirty way to do a cuffed sleeve is I want you to fold your fabric when you cut it out along you want to give yourself a good amount. So like this right here will be the facing of the shirt. So it'll be like this. So like I said, I didn't make a pattern. I just sort of folded my fabric like this. I gave myself enough to roll up like that, right? Oh, I still didn't give myself enough on this underarm here. Oh, what a bummer. So yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to fold it twice. So you want to fold it enough for the depth of the cuff that you have. So you need a long enough underarm to do that, right? So right now all I have is a really wide hem. And then fold it again. And then if you fold your fabric like this and cut it, you'll get the right shaping here at the underarm. You can see, look, I'm falling short a tiny little bit right here because I forgot the second fold. I had a lot going on. I was in the conference room cutting this out. Thankfully, I'm pretty much the only one in this office lately. So there's a huge conference room no one uses but me and my husband to eat burgers once a month. And me to cut out rainbow ruler fabric because there's a huge table in there. It's great. So yeah, so I'm going to do a little cuff. I think that'll work good. Might not even notice it because this blue is going to line up with that blue. And what I'll have to do here is probably taper this a little bit so that I get my side seam to line up. All right. So one of the kooky things, hi Catherine, have you cut your muslin on the bias also? I did not cut my muslin on the bias. No, it's a good question actually. So this will fit a little differently. It'll feel more comfortable and you'll probably see a few more drag lines when it's on the bias because it stretches. Because what can happen is a garment on the bias can stay hung up on an area of the body because it'll stretch a little bit. And you don't notice it, it feels more comfortable. It does feel like your garment when you first put it on, it feels a little like it's asymmetrical because of the bias. When I do it like this, when I'm doing it, see, because the whole bodice isn't on the same bias, this is going to feel better. This is going to feel more symmetrical when I'm wearing it. All right. The other kooky thing I'm going to do today, just because I think that you guys will like seeing this, is I'm not going to finish my seams unless it's a seam that's cut on the grain. Like my sleeves are cut on the grain, my collar's cut on the grain, my casing is cut on the grain. Those are the only things that are cut on the grain, and my facing as well. Those are the only seams I'm going to finish. Everything else, I'm going to leave it raw because bias does not fray. And I really want it to be nice and soft inside. I really like soft seams. And French seams, I only have 1/2 inch seam allowance, remember? So this is perfect. French seams and flat felled seams, you know, they're a lot more sewing and they will add a little bit of bulk, right? So, yeah, exactly, Leah. Oh my God, are you kidding? Tetris, I did mental Tetris gymnastics. It was crazy. I had a few different ways and I was like, this isn't gonna work. I can tell this is gonna work and I don't know why it's gonna work. I'm gonna darken this up a little bit. More like that. That looks a little better, right? Hi, Rachel. How's it going? All right, so let me think about my sewing steps here. So I really need this seam here to be open to get the casing on so that I don't have to sew this casing on here when it's a whole circle dress. So I'm going to leave the center front seam open, which means I can't put my collar on since I'm doing a pullover, right? If you're doing a button front, you have nothing to worry about. You can do whatever you want. You can put the casing above the seam and lined up to it. You can straddle the seam. The button front gives you a lot more options. Because mine's a pullover, I don't have that. So I have to make some compromises. So I can't put my collar and facing on until my center front seam is sewn. So we're gonna have to start down here, which means I think I need to do my pockets first. This is crazy doing this backwards. The back, skirt, to bodice, right? And then I will have basically everything but sleeves and collar. And then I can do collar, sleeves, and that will, I think that'll work just fine. All right, I just needed a little bit of a, you know, something. I am too, Leah. I'm actually pretty excited as well. It was hard to cut into it. I've been coveting this fabric for a while and had this idea for a while. I've drafted 2 patterns for it. I lost my pin cushion in the mix yesterday. It's way over there because I brought it into the conference room. So I need to just steal pins where I can. All right, so let's do our dart so we can just get rid of this pin here. And then we'll start with the bottom of the skirt, which kind of makes me mad because I have to show you one little spot on my skirt. I'm going to curve my dart too. Let's get rid of this pin here. I hate it when I pin from the right side. I'm going to curve it. I didn't get my bottom of one corner of the skirt onto the fabric completely. And I didn't remember until last night laying in bed that I forgot to cut the fabric to piece it together. And this morning I walked in going, oh, please let me have fabric to piece this corner, because I was kind of hoping that the dress could get a little shorter and then I won't have to piece it together. But now I won't know, because I have to sew so much together before I get there. So we're just going to have to piece it together. That's just how it is. Yeah, me too, Terry. I know. You guys have been, I've been wanting to. I've come close a few times. I really wanted to make this for Sew Expo, but Anne kind of talked some sense into me about the weather and was like, yeah, it won't be dress weather. I don't wear tights. Like, I like tights, but I just don't have any I like right now. So I was like, you know what? That's a good point. I'm just going to let this go. So I'm glad we could wait. All right, so now we have our dart in there. I'm kind of sad about no pocket, even though I would never use the pocket. All right, so let's see. Let's go press this real quick. I think I ended up pressing my dart up at the last second. I used to be so glued to which way my dart got pressed, and now it is just the wild, wild west on the things I draft. Oh, I love this fabric. Oh, I forgot to put back this and this. That's everything, right? Yep. Okay. I saw someone has already cut out their muslin on Instagram. That was very exciting. I was impressed. If you guys are following along while I'm drafting, you have superhuman powers, man. All right. It almost matches the shoulders, but it's not the same colors. It's okay though. That's fine. I feel like I could sew this whole dress today because we're not finishing seams. No, this isn't a spoonflower fabric. I showed the selvage I think toward the end of the stream yesterday, Jan. I don't have it handy in front of me, but I think it's by Paintbrush Studio. I know Hearts does not have it because I bought all of it. So I just did my shoulders, and now I'm going to do my side seam here. Let's see how well we match. It's going to match at the top, and at the bottom it'll be different, but by the time we get to the bottom of the skirt, they will match again. Darts always kind of ruin things for matching. Hi Eliza, how's it going? Yeah. Because since it's cut on the bias, the fabric won't fray, so there's no reason to. Hi Hannah. You can always finish your seams on the bias if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've done a lot of bias dresses And it feels really nice when you don't have to use, you know, like the serger seams are kind of like scratchy and bulky sometimes. And French seams, you know, they're definitely, French seams are tighter. Like a French seam armhole, that's a little tighter of an armhole. It's my favorite, but it doesn't mean I don't think it's, you know, tight, not tight. All right, let's see if we can, how we can get this. So we need to match this on the seam line. Center back seam. All right, let's get this relatively matched. Peel it back on the seam line here and see how we're doing. Not bad. Let's try. On my other bias dresses, I would also like open the seam and then top stitch it just because it looked kind of cool. Yeah, it's been a long time. I did this on the, if you look back in streams for the Amelia dress, I also have a video dedicated to like sewing without a serger. I'll try and remember to link it in the description. And I show some of the things I've made that I didn't use a serger, knit things and dresses that are cut on the bias. And I turn them inside out and I show how they look now that I've worn them for years. So you can see what they look like on the inside. All of a sudden it said the stream is over, but it said like 40 people were watching. Oh, really? You know, Jan, did you join late? Because I feel like when you were chatting and you were saying things, it was a little out of sync. So, so one thing I can do, let's see how the matching went. Well, shoot dang, I'll take it. Looks pretty good. So I will press the seam open and then stitch on either side. It just looks cool. Why did I curve it? The only person that doesn't know about this. Oh, I curve the dart because sometimes I like it to kind of cup my boob a little bit more. I will say it's not as, I don't, it's like, you know, sometimes when you get a little point at the end of your dart. I don't think it's as crucial on this because this is a loose garment. But like say, like on this blouse here, this is a pretty fitted button up. I curve it. Because when you think about like how this is going to go around the body, right? It's going to curve. So here's the cup, see right there, the boob. So if you wanted, you can kind of curve the dart and flatten it out by the time it gets to the point. And I didn't do much. That way it wants to sort of not get that point at the end, like a pucker, right? Oh my gosh, Dan, that's a bummer. We've been through that twice now. All right, let's press this. Let's press. Ooh, look at this. So see my pinks match here, but the dart throws it off when we get. So what do you guys think? Should I, so there's a few things I can do. See this curve though? See how this is curved right here, my side seam? So it wants to sit up, right? Like this. There's the curve. That means that when you think about it, like I like to think about these things kind of technically sometimes. Even if I open up this seam and stitch it down, I'm asking the fabric to lay down on something that's longer than it is. So, but yeah, this is what I would do, Leah. I would just press the seam open and then I would stitch on either side. The other seam finish you can do if you don't want to do like a full flat felled seam, I could trim this side down, press it, wait, this is the back, sorry. I could trim this one down and then just lay this flat and stitch it down, not even turn it under. That would be a flatter seam allowance as well. There's a lot of ways to enclose your seams. Just because the there's sergers doesn't mean you have to finish your seams, you know? Just saying. There was probably a few centuries where people weren't finishing seams. It's kind of a newer thing. They were probably doing a lot of enclosed seams or hemming the edges, things like that. Lining. But the less I put on the seams, the more drapey and fluid it'll be. Remember, I'm dealing with quilting cotton. So what do we think? Do we think press, open, and stitch? It's a big seam allowance for just leaving it like this. I want to do something to it. Maybe just trim it down and then top stitch it down so it lays nice and flush. The only danger with top stitching the seam allowance is that, you know, I could potentially stretch out the seam because it's on the bias. So I have to be really careful. But it will add some stability too. How do I get that wrinkle in there? My grandmother rarely finished seams. I'm trying to read the chat from far away. And that's why the big four seam allowance is so big. Yeah, that's true. Hand overcast, that's another one. That's what I was saying, like, they'll hem the seam allowance, you know, basically they'll take the seam allowance and just hem it to itself. I used to do that a lot on my facings. I tend to iron a lot when I'm noodling on things. All right, let's see. All right. Let's just gaze at this. Yeah, hand overcast it. Oh, get out, Terry. Oh, yeah. Think people will notice me coming and going? I love that it's rulers. Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. Pinking. That's also kind of more of a modern thing, but yeah. Pinking, which is like a zigzag cut. Oh, I thought Tiffany said that. Sorry, Jan. All right. I am sort of in favor of stitching my seams, but not sure. Just because it's a lot of seam allowance. I would probably have done a smaller seam allowance had I known I was going to do that. Let's do a nice, sort of want to use top stitch thread, but that'll make it scratchy on the underside. I'm not going to do that because the tension won't be quite right. Don't I have a top stitching foot? Or is that my new machine? Do you guys hear that squeak? I bet Terry does. It sounds like my bobbin winder is going, and it's not. And it's sort of starting to make me worried. I'm just going to tilt my machine back really quick. Sorry. Yeah, my oil's a little low. Okay, good to know. That's what it is. You know, there's a lot of theories about that, Gail. And hello. Some feel that, and I agree, that the optical illusion of your bust dart, the way it's pressed, will either add fullness or reduce fullness appearance-wise of your breast. So it will look smaller or larger, and or it's not that it's more that maybe you don't want to accentuate it or add. So there's ways to kind of mitigate the way it looks. I'm just being cavalier in pressing mine either way because I don't care either way. I wasn't trained either way. I was trained one way only, always up, I'm pretty sure. I can't even remember now because now I've gotten so used to doing whatever I want. But, you know, it's not that there's some sort of rule with all these things that we do. People think there are, but there's not. There wasn't like a Lord of Sewing who came down and, you know, said, whatever, we have to do it a certain way. Or a lady of the stitch, you know, or something. It's just a lot of things we've been doing for a really long time, and they're based on probably what, who was drafting patterns at that time, what fabrics we had available to us, what our machines can do, and those things kind of change and overlap over the years. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you could hear that. I know. I'm a little bit like, oof, I need some machine oil. Which I'm pretty sure, I'm actually not sure I have. We'll have some by tomorrow. This is one way to make this last longer, right? I like the way it looks. All right. So now, oh, I have one more. One more. Yeah, I usually have like a, did I lose it? Oh, I did, okay. Oof, I like the way it looks better with 2 layers though. Oh well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have any oil right now. I think when I moved, I used it all to refill my machine. All right, so the next thing I'm going to work on is my pockets to my skirt. Oops, I meant to go across. Doesn't really matter though. I'm going to do my pockets to my skirt and my skirt together, and then my skirt to my bodice. Hubba hubba. All right. So it's my pockets. These my pockets. So my pockets are also on the straight grain, so I think I'll French seam those maybe. No, I wasn't always going to top stitch. I hope so, Terry. I am going to be that crazy lady in paradise. That's where my office is, in paradise. All right. So we need to piece my corner together. Here, let me show you my little thing here. So when I was cutting this out, I let one corner hang off. These don't stick to that. I let one corner hang off, see? So I'm missing this little bit. And I'll be darned if I could find a whole piece to do it. So let's see, we need to overlap. So let's see, I won't get the numbers lined up, but I will get the numbers lined up on this. I can do that. Look at that. So this piece matches together. Let's see. I'll do it like this. Very literal pattern matching. There we go. Now I can flip it right sides together and sew on my fold. Okay. It was a much bigger triangle cut off, but then I was able to cut one whole skirt off of this one extra yard. Hi Amy, how's it going? So let's see, we would like to, maybe we could just use that as our seam line. A little risky. Put my back stitch on here. Like that. Okay, so let's go iron this. The things we'll do. No one will ever know, and besides you guys. There's a chance that my skirt will get short enough to where this won't even show, or maybe it'll just be in the hem. Picking that line to sew on is so risky because if I don't nail it, and I won't, yeah, you know, right? We want to make sure we got this in the right place too. Like, we might want to shift this that way. Yeah, like that. Like that. Pretty sure. Wait, let's double check. No, we can actually keep it lined up. I'm sort of sewing the dress backwards, Amy. I'm piecing together a missing spot of my hem because of when I cut it out, I was missing it. So there now. That's the corner of my hem. I think I'll... See, I lost that little white line there. We could always stitch right there and then the white line would appear, but I don't think anyone will notice, honestly. All right, let's go press that real quick. Yeah, I was really fighting for fabric. I had to piece this together and then piece it on here. The problem with this fabric is the repeat was almost a yard long. That's kind of rare for repeats. So there we go. Not bad, eh? Let's lay this one on here. And just try and get it to land in the same spot. So the repeat being that long gives you a lot fewer opportunities to match it. These are the worst scissors to do this with, but I get eager. So I have this one little thing right here. I am pretty sure my skirt will end up being shortened a little bit. So I feel pretty good. Thanks, Montinos. Yeah, I mean, can you tell? You can see there's that white line is almost a problem. Maybe I should sew that. Oh, I do want to put a back stitch on this because I've been trimming. And I didn't backstitch it anyway because I knew I'd trim. Let's backstitch that and maybe sew this with a slightly larger seam allowance so we get rid of that white showing. Just make it uniform, you know? Yeah. All right. All right. Okay, so now our skirt is whole. Sharpie marker. I don't have a dark green though. I've done that with white thread on black webbing when I forgot to change the bobbin. Okay. So we have our pockets. Whoops, they're right here. Now part of me thinks I could bind my pockets, which I never do. Instead of French seaming, I don't need to French seam. Can I do that? Quilter's trick? Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is the sleeves. Here's my bodice, sleeves, pockets. What do I want to do with my pockets? I have the notches on the front, not the back. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The one change I did to my dress, I showed you the muslin, just in case you're late. Here's the muslin I did. I can't believe I didn't mention this. I didn't really have to change much. I cuffed the sleeve and I raised my waist seam. That's it. So when I turn around, you'll see the black line in the back. That was where the waist seam was going to be. So I raised it by 2 inches, the blousing amount. I raised it just about the amount of the blousing. So there's a chance I just didn't really need the blousing. But, you know, you do need blousing. It's just that it's being accounted for probably differently on a dress, a full length. And then I did another little video where I marked where my pocket is.
No, he's placing a trap.
So.
Oh, he didn't. Yo, I called the bluff. Oh, wait, he just wants to face on.
I didn't. Oh, right, I'm trying to hide this. There we go. I didn't cut this out on camera. It was too complicated, Sue. I did the drafting yesterday on stream though. So, but yeah. you didn't miss anything. I had to cut it off camera. It was too hard. I had to go in a different room and everything. I did take a couple videos where I'm just like, this is my conundrum. This is what's happening. But I don't know how interesting they really are. So, all right. So let's see. I think I'm going to sew my pocket. So this is what I did. I made my top pockets. No, wait, my bottom pockets. Wait. Did I make I made 2 of my pockets match the best I could, but I really just couldn't get them to match. This is my bottom pockets, I'm pretty sure. I wanted my bottom pockets to match most. They're on the grain as well, so, you know. And we're going to sew these right sides together. Well, actually, wrong sides together. I'm going to do a French seam here. All right, so I'm going to I'm thinking I want this seam. I want my pocket to be caught in the seam so it stays forward. I'm just trying to think if I'm missing anything. I feel like I'm forgetting something right now. Well, let's just see. We have a seam ripper. There's one. Oh, sorry. Whack. I'm going to French seam this whole area here. Only because my pockets were cut on grain. Did I catch it right there? Yeah, I did. All right, let's go. Let's do our others and then we'll press these. If you have a long continuous side seam, I have a video on sewing French seam pockets. If this one would be, if what I'm doing here isn't going to work for you. I'm a bit concentrated today, sorry. We're not to the juicy stuff yet, are we? We really just want to see the collar, right? I do too. I can't wait to see the collar and the facing. Like just that, it's kind of like what makes a garment sometimes, you know? It's not quite reaching there. It kind of bugs me. But it'll get caught in there. All right, let's go press this. Such a risk using this fabric on basically what's considered a muslin. I don't consider it a muslin, but you know, I've never made this before, so technically it is the first time. Why does that look funny? Oh, I keep forgetting that I need to redo that intro video. Someone let me know that the audio is cut out at the beginning. Thank you, kind person who told me that. That whole thing, like I redid that. I feel like last year, like same exact thing, but I edited it a different way so that the intro music would play directly after it. And I can tell that the FPS isn't correct. That's why you see the little like striations across the stop motion. Maybe I will, I don't know, I might have time today. Maybe I'll just re-record a whole new thing. Do you guys think I need that whole bit about, this is how you basically watch a live stream? You know? I mean, I know all of you know now, but maybe, what do you think would be most helpful? Should I just skip the intro? I could just do the song. That'd be easy. But I feel like a lot of people are new to watching live streams sometimes, so having that information is good. And it calmed down all the people going, wah, this is the worst video I've ever watched. It's a live stream. and closing that seam now. Yeah, I think it does too. Okay, Rachel, see you later. I was just marveling with this other person, and they were helping someone with fitting, and the person had followed all the steps in like a fitting course that they had bought. And so now they were like, all right, am I ready to make my muslin, you know? And they'd done all these really great steps. And we were both so impressed that they followed the steps. Because, yeah, it's kind of rare, you know? I was like, yeah, I get it. All right, so this is, the pink corner is, this is the back right here. And this one's the front. All right. I know by the ruler at the center front waist. This one goes here. That one goes to that one. All right. And then as far as, okay, you guys go together. You guys go together. Yeah, I think I'll redo that maybe, or I can just patch the audio, fix it. But that was also, I recorded that when we were trying to do live timestamps live, and so that weird time thing is in the corner. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, my nose is so itchy all of a sudden. Allergies are crazy right now. Oh, I should probably press that. You know, one thing I do wrong every time I'm sewing is this right here. Every time I sew French seam pockets, I miss one layer. It never ever fails. And it's funny, the last time I was teaching people how to do this, I was a guest on Alice and Company's. They did like a charity event where, and it was all about pockets. And they were like, hey, would you come on and teach us how to sew a few pockets? And I was like, yeah, sure. So this is the one of the ones I did was, they selected what they wanted me to do, right? And I said in it, I was like, the one thing I always do wrong is I don't catch that little curve on one layer. Sure enough, I didn't. Live in a thing where I just said I never do that. It's kind of funny. All right, should probably pay attention to my side seam matching here. It won't match perfectly till the end though. So it might be a little bit annoying that it doesn't in some ways. But it couldn't because of the dart. I sometimes vacillate when I'm matching seams. Should I go from the waist up? You know? All right, so there's this one. Let's trim this down a little bit. Go up into that little corner here, my pivot point. This could honestly be just trimmed down a little bit in general. Let's see, did I catch it? I did. I won't catch the other one, I promise. It just always happens. You need to trim this down though for this curve. I think also this kind, if you're not doing a French seam on pockets like this, and even if you are, decreasing your stitch length around that curve isn't a bad idea because it can pull out of the seam. I always see it on pockets. All right, so we have one we need ironing for, and now let's do this one. I might stay and do the whole garment. Is that gonna be a problem for you guys? I know, but Barbara, I said that during that thing, and I was like, see, I'm pre-gaming here. Like I'm gonna make sure I don't miss it, because I'm live with these people. And the funny thing about that Zoom that I didn't know was that while I was giving my presentation, you know how Zoom is, I don't have a way to look at chat. I can't see the people. Well, I could have looked up, but for me on Zoom, it fills the screen with my view because I spotlighted myself. And that's all I can see, right? And it's not like there's a live chat, so I can't see people. There's a chat, but it's different. So what I'm getting at is I didn't know that Alice and Lilia got kicked out of the Zoom. They're literally the host of the Zoom, and they got kicked out. Thankfully, they had given me host privileges sort of like 10 minutes in because I was like, hey, do you guys want me to just admit people? Because it was like 150 people. It was like the largest Zoom I'd ever been in my life. And they were like, yeah, actually, that'd be great. So they gave me host privileges so I could admit people. And because of that, they could get back into the Zoom and it didn't die. It was kind of funny. They missed the whole thing. So they'll never know if I did a good job. I need this little piece. If you ever have a chance to take one of their like classes or courses, you won't regret it. They are just so nice and so fun, and their knowledge of historical clothing is so good. Her daughter Lilia works for the V&A, so. Oh, awesome, Megan. I'm glad. Your dress rules. Nah, Ed, that's a good one. I love that. My dress rules. Oh, you have a punny husband. I have a punny husband, too. Let's see if he comes up with that pun, too. Allison Lilia from Allison Co. Patterns, Barbara. Do you remember when Libby and Amy and Amy Manarino, who we haven't seen in a bit, she had a wrist injury, so she just hasn't been sewing. But she and I, the three of us were taking their behind the seams, I forgot to clip this, course on, it was like Fashion Through the Ages, but it was a pattern drafting specific class. It was a year long. One era a month, and so the first there were a bunch that were like 100 years or an era, and then when we got up to then we did it by decade in the last like 100 years, right? So they did like a lot of like old stuff, like what people wore, why they wore it, what was happening in that time to make that happen, how they were wearing their clothes and why. And then they went decade by decade. And then at the very end of it, each presentation was like 2 hours on the nose. They were really good about managing it. And it was the slideshow of clothing was so amazing to see, especially with Lilia being working in the clothing department of the Victoria and Albert Museum. And they, oh shoot, I missed my seam there. I can see it right there. And then at the very end, they would take a couple of the like elements from that decade or era that really stood out and that you saw repeated a lot. And they would show you how to draft it, or even do kind of like a, how would you incorporate this into modern dress thing? And the like slopers came with it. I don't know if everyone was really like drafting clothes and making it based on it. But yeah, so, oh, what did I clip? I just clipped my seam allowance was folding back on itself right here. See how this one's folding back on itself? I forgot to clip so that I could spread this apart. In fact, that's going to be a problem right there. Let's go look at it on this side. It might be enclosed, so it'll be fine. But so before I sewed this seam here, I should have clipped right here so that I could unfold the seam allowance, because it's all bunched up from being seamed above where it's at. Yeah, I know. I saw her. She's commented on a couple of Instagrams this year. So I'm wondering if she just had to kind of move on to other crafts that didn't aggravate her wrist, because she was kind of in that like, should I have surgery or should I not? So Yeah, sorry. I shouldn't even be talking about someone else's things. I'm sorry. But yeah. You could probably message her on the guild and say hi. She'd probably reply. I don't know how, if she logs in or not. Maybe she's not. I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm doing the worst job ever cutting this. Ugh. All right, let's go iron these two. All right, let's see here. The easier way to do this is with a rotary knife. It's just a lot easier. At least for me, my scissors aren't really up to it right now. Let's make sure, did I catch both sides? Oh my goodness, you're right, Barbara. It didn't happen. Just trimming it down, and then I'll need to trim up into that pivot point there where I came down the side seam. What is that noise? Oh, that's my little water cooler. It's really throwing me off, you guys. It's like having a roommate. Oh, we'll work on this one. All right, this one I've pretty much trimmed, right? I think this looks pretty good. Let's do the side seam here. All right, let's press. It doesn't look terribly off. See, it is off though, but by the time we get down here, it should match. And this is what I was saying, like maybe I should have focused on matching my bodice from the waist up, and then, you know, then you don't have to worry about matching above the dart because that's such a small area. It's like hindsight, right? Now I know, but I'm not making another ruler dress, so hopefully I'll remember that tip the next time I'm doing something crazy like this, but I doubt it. But you know what I mean? The focusing on the armhole corner is such an easy way to match things. I do like doing that. All right, so let's turn it on this side. Yeah, I'm French seaming the pocket because the pocket was cut on the straight grain, but the whole dress was cut on the bias. So I kind of have to finish the seam on the pocket. I'm not going to finish the seams on the rest of the dress, just the pieces I cut on the grain, which is the sleeve, the pocket, collar, and facing. Mainly because they don't need to be on the bias, or I wanted, like for the sleeves, I wanted matching sleeves. That's really, I had to settle for that. Like there's no way I could have matched. I didn't have enough fabric. I may need to check that. There's a little thread there and I can't tell if it's just the bottom of my seam or what. Thinking about if is permanently forward. What do I think of that? I might have sewn this a little differently. This is the, oh, that's the back. Because I would like my pocket to be caught in the seam. I think it's so nice when patterns have you catch the pocket in the waist. It means they know how to wear clothes. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm just kind of looking at things right now because I want to know how it's going to be. Okay. Okay. All right, let me get this one that fell on the floor. Yeah, I don't like the dangling pocket. You know, I think that this really got underscored when I had a knit dress once. Oh man, and I had my car keys in my pocket, and every time I'd get in the car, the pocket would swing back around behind me, and I'd sit on my car keys, you know, and so it just made me, they kind of bored into my head every time I make side seam pockets. If there's any chance I can secure them at the waist. Oh yeah, see, this is raw right there. That doesn't get caught. I need to fix that. That's because I didn't clip that edge there. How's your buttonholer doing, Shim? Did you figure it out? Have you considered not sewing it twice? That might help. I know you like that, but hi, Michelle. How's it going? Michelle, you're so funny. Sewing Fairy trying to tell me something on this? Yeah, it is. It's this one right here. So let's fix that real quick. Did I already sew down here? Yeah, or I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, good luck. All right, right here. Let me just take this apart. Bummer that it's right here at this corner, but that's why it's happening too. The seam just didn't get all the way enclosed. I was just thinking today, like, I need some button-ups so I could use my buttonholer. I was even thinking maybe I should just start my birthday gifts for my brother. My brother has more handmade shirts by me than my husband does at this point, but he wears, so is Michael. Michael wears, you know, he wears them. He was actually wearing the Jensen today. I was like, oh, he's wearing the Jensen. It's usually that one Fairfield. That's just like his go-to. All right, let me, there we go. Yeah, see there's the culprit. There she be. Okay. Should have ironed it. I love when you're just like, oh, I'm too lazy to do something, and then it ends up taking you 10 times longer because you just couldn't get up and iron. Anyone relate to that? You're like, why? Now I don't feel lazy at all. I feel like I'm working too hard for this when I wouldn't had to if I'd just done the darn thing, you know? Oh, they are? Oh. That's good to know since I need to buy some machine oil and I need to buy some supplies for my new machine. I need some bobbins. I need some needles. I can always make you that little blouse. You could make that little blouse. Okay, there we go. Now it's nice and clean in there. Shay Shim's Buttonhole Factory. All right, let's enclose this. And then we have just the center back seam and we'll have a skirt. I should be really careful about the matching here. I forgot. I mean, I know it's not going to up here, but you know what I mean. All right, let's get this. What is this little curve here? Let's straighten that out a little bit. Just sort of opening it up, placing the seam right on top of it. I tell you what, Shim, this was definitely one of the hardest things I've cut. It wasn't hard. It was 25% off. Okay, good. It was kind of mind-bendy. And it wasn't until this morning that it struck me that it had been impossible all along to do what I had wanted. So it just sometimes that happens, you know, like if you have a one-way plaid, there may only be one way to do it, you know. It makes me feel a little better, but at the same time, I'm like, shoot, I guess I couldn't think of everything. I love that Aisha told you before you even asked. Okay, let's see. That looks all okay. I just need to define my hand opening here. So I usually just do it very literally. And I'll sew this together here. All right, so we have one, and now let's do this one. Yeah, exactly. And I think the bias really added a layer. The other thing was the print repeat was, it was like 34 inches. 34-inch repeat. So if I couldn't match something in the first repeat, I had to wait a whole other repeat to get another opportunity, right? And sometimes I was taken up with skirt. So I took a weird little video of the process and kind of showed it in process and like what my plan was. So it'll be interesting. I might edit it and put it together. I'm sort of doing a funky job with these pockets, but whatever. Okay, let's do the definition thing. Now I prioritize my pockets being the same length rather than checking my hand. I don't like them feeling different. That really bugs me. Right here, okay, it's about 1 inch. Yeah, I have to open that ruler view to check that all the time. And sometimes I will pick the fabric base based on the repeat, because I know that I need it more going, the repeat's going a certain, more going across. So I'll pick the one that works. Yeah. Okay. Here's my pockets. Here we go. All right, so let's do, oh, actually this was the front over here. So we can just stitch that down to the waist. And this one goes this way. Actually. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the center back seam, and then I'm going to do the casing. Well, I'm going to sew it to the bodice together. You don't have to match, though. I really don't think you have to. I really don't think it looks like what people think. You don't have to match. This was more about pattern placement than matching. I had an idea that I wanted, you know. I'm sewing my center back seam. This could have been equally cute with the rulers going all different directions, you know, like, have you seen, you know, like a button-ups where the stripe on one front are going vertical, the stripe on the other front's going horizontal, the pocket's going, you know, diagonal, you know, like you can have a lot of fun and go against it, and it'd be really cute. We're about to have a dress. Alert, alert. Yeah, that's part of it, Aisha. I think because, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I do because I just do the center front and the side seams, and that's it. That's all I really care about, because that's pretty easy to do. I use the juncture of the armhole at the side seam to match the side seam, you know. Sometimes I just lay my pieces right on the fabric next to each other while I cut out the next one so I can tell. There's my pieced hem shem. Look at that. I had to piece this corner. Woo, look at that. I'm into it. Look at that. Yeah. I want to press my pockets so they look less poofy. I have a little pucker here. I don't know what that's from. I may have to go back and fix that. Oh, I have another one here. I think it's because of my hip curve here. What did I do there? I knew I was doing kind of something willy-nilly there. All right, well, we'll go back and fix that. It's this right here, this little curve. Straighten that out. Rainbow is always a winner. Oh, that's what I did. I remember thinking as I was talking, and I was like, why did I just curve that? That's what it is. Okay. I curved the seam right there. All right, there we go. That'll look better. Okay. All right, so let's attach. Oh, wait, let me do the stitching on the center back seam here. Since I'm not finishing the raw edges. It's because, I don't know why, Terry, but when I was going around the juncture of the pocket to the skirt, I went like this rather than going up and then pivoting straight down. So I created a curve that, I don't know. So good. It's so good. I mean, you know? Yeah. Okay. Here's my bodice. Here's my bodice. Okay, so I'm going to sew my bodice wrong sides together so that the seam is just in the casing. And then that way I don't have to worry about finishing it at all. That is the back, right? Wait, the front, I mean. Wait, why? That is the front. This is so weird. I'm so in awe of how the matching was supposed to go. Let me just look at it real quick here. Is that? So interesting. Okay. Oh, sorry. Why am I on the screen? All right. Oops, wrong sides together. I want to do wrong sides together and just put the seam inside the casing, right? Why not? Because I'm straddling it, I can do that. Look at this. This is a perfect example. Do you see how thready the top of my pocket is? Look at it. That's because it's cut on grain. None of the rest of it is thready because it's all cut on the bias. So I was trying to explain why this is in the comment section under the Hong Kong finish video because someone was asking about it. And the way I look at it, I'm not a fabric science person, I've just thought about it, right? The way I look at it is that when you think about the weave of the fabric, right? The weave of the fabric is going like this. When it's approaching, like if you look at all these little threads here along the cut edge, they're being secured and there's no, it's, actually I'll explain it the other way. If you think about fabric on grain, right? This is on grain, right? So this is the cross grain. Soon this edge will look thready once I've been handling it a lot. The cap won't. The underarm will look a little bit, but this hem, it'll look thready soon, right? So think about it this way. All of the fibers to create this fabric, right? They're like this, right? They're woven like this. So there's a lot of little threads going this way and a lot of threads going this way, right? So those threads are parallel to this raw edge, so you could just keep plucking them off, right? See, I can pluck them off like that. Look at that. Whereas in the bias, they're not parallel. There's nothing to pluck. They're diagonal, so they're secure. It's not a open raw edge like it is on the straight grain. So that's the way, like, I always like thinking of it like, why does this work logically, right? Because I know people will be horrified that I didn't finish my seams. And I get it, because that's not the conventional way, but it doesn't, like, no one's made the rules. So I approach things very, very logically. Like, well, do I really need that? Do I really like that? Do I want that? No one can tell me differently. You know? I have to wear it. I had to make it. I bought all the materials. I can do whatever I want. And, you know, I've definitely made mistakes. Thousands of mistakes over the years. I see new sewists make mistakes. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, why would they do that? They'll never make that mistake again. You kind of sometimes have to go through the whole act. Even I've done things where I'm like, I know this is wrong, but I still have to do it. I designed so many things in the chicken boots days where I'd be like, okay, I need to do this because I know it's wrong, but I have to understand so thoroughly why this is wrong so I don't do it again. And we would have this bin of bags, you know, like we couldn't make or sell. We wished we could, right? So horrified might be kind of strong. There's going to be people horrified. There will be people that won't watch because of it. I guarantee it. So, yeah, exactly. Hong Kong Finish is a great example of that. I mean, look at Hong Kong Finish has been around a while. They're doing it, and it's a raw side, you know. Yeah, it's still exactly. It's like an open. It's like open knitting, right, Anna? Like it's live threads. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning, Anna. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Eliza. All right, I'm going to trim this down. I have a dress. I'm going to trim this down and open it and stitch it down so that it's not in the way of my casing. And then we'll put the casing on. I haven't cut my draw cord yet. And let me tell you, it's going to be close. It's going to be in a lot of pieces. The fabric scraps are scrappy. I should show you my scrap pile. It's bad. It is so bad because of the repeat, especially. Like, I was fighting for my life to get a chest pocket before the stream, and it was not going to happen unless I didn't want it to match. And I did want that to match. I don't want it to interrupt the design I did. I spent so much work on, right? Yeah, you gotta pick and choose, right, Terry? I thought Michael wasn't wearing the jeans I made for him. It turns out he does wear them, but originally he wouldn't because, oh, sorry, the rivets were scratching him. I have just stopped using rivets. I think that unless you know for sure you're getting really good quality rivets, and you don't know. Doesn't matter, sometimes you're buying it from a trusted source. They may not know either. So I just don't put them on. So many times they scratch, rip the fabric, you know. Okay. Let's go press this. Ooh, that's a good idea, Mullen. I like that idea. That would actually save me some fabric too. Look at this, I got a dress and ruler. And look at the inside, it's just a raw seam. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. So we're looking at, this is the center front right here. This is the skirt. Easier to trim this when it was before I top stitch it, but harder to press now that it's trimmed. I have to press hard right here because this is the pocket. I actually don't have to press this open, but it'll be less bulky. Actually, what do we think? Do we want this pressed open and stitched down? Or do we just want it pressed up and stitched down? I'm kind of thinking up because of this right here, this pocket. No, I'm going to do this. I don't want a really big ridge inside the casing. What is seam? Seam, here we go. Here, this is the seam, okay. I need some deli meat. Put the salami under there. There we go. That's a little easier. Okay. You know, I have kind of a fun announcement. I don't know. I haven't really told you guys. It happened really quick. But I got a part-time gig helping out in the Sew Liberated community. So basically, I just help people when they have a question, when they're stuck. So if you're in the Sew Liberated community, you can say hi to me. It's not like the guild. It's not quite the same kind of thing. It could be, like it could be a more social space, but it's more centered around their courses and stuff like that. So you might see me in there. And it's just very part-time, like just a few hours a week. But I'm thrilled with it. I really like working with them. And for the most part, it centers around all their patterns. There's just one area that it could be anybody's patterns. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of my first week doing it. All right. Whew, that was kind of tough. He has a belly and a butt. All right, so I'm just going to stitch this down so that it doesn't crumple inside my casing and become a problem with my draw cord. No one will see this. They have a lot of patterns, Jan. I haven't made very many of them. On my channel here, I've made 3, which I've totally forgot about one of them. The first one I ever made was the Gathering apron, and Hearts Fabric gave us that. And that's a pretty old pattern for them. I don't even think you can get on, oh yeah, I think you can get on their website. I'm still learning. But I made the cosecha pants last January, like a year ago last January, which I actually love. Just don't follow my fly the way I did the zipper in the video. Just do it the way they tell you to do it. I was too clever for my own good. And then I made the Sylvan jacket recently, which I love. All right. Let's do the other side. Do they know I changed it? I don't know. Maybe. Wait. I'm dragging because of the thickness of the pocket there. There we go. Now we're motoring. They know I didn't sew the pocket the way they did, because I think she was a little disappointed. So my original vision for this dress was it wouldn't have a waist seam. So yours might not have one. But because of the bias, I needed smaller pieces. So, what, Eliza? What? Plus, he wants to be handling. Oh my goodness. Eliza calls it how it is. You can tell, nurse at heart. All right, how are we looking? Oh, I caught my pocket. The sewing fairy was telling me, look. Dang it. I caught it really good. Look at this. This is why it got hung up. Dang it. How did I not notice that? Because I knew it was thick. I just want to get to the fun stuff. Shoot. I couldn't even tell that I was catching this twice. Holy. Okay. Hi. So how's the weather? Exactly, Tiffany, right? Hi, Ellen. How's it going? Thank you for validating me, Tiffany. I noticed, but I didn't notice. Look at all that. Oh. Good thing this is just an invisible top stitch, but still. Yeah, you don't get custom pants if you're not going to sit through the fittings or stand through the fittings. I'm glad Shim reminded me about ordering stuff. Well, I was kind of hesitant to order bobbins from Waywat because I want to make sure I get the correct bobbin. And I have ordered bobbins before and I got the wrong ones from them. And I wasn't sure if I ordered wrong or they just weren't the right ones or what, you know. I still have them. I don't know what they go toward. Okay, here, we're at the end. Phew. Rainy and chilly for the whole week. Yeah. It's been super rainy here. I'm not complaining. I kind of like it, but yeah, it's always a shock when I go out and I'm like, oh, raincoat? What the heck is a raincoat? Oh, that's great, Barbara. Yeah, if it's just the bottom, totally. But this would have been in there forever had I not caught it. Okay, let's get rid of the rest of these threads here. It's just right here. I didn't catch the other one, did I? I'm paranoid. No. Okay. Okay. I don't want to do it again. All right. I think it's going to be rainy and cool for the next day or two, and then it gets 70 degrees. So I want more dresses. Usually I sew a lot of dresses, and I haven't the last year, I don't think. I say that, and you're going to be like, but what about this? What about that? What about this? It feels like I haven't. I would like some new dresses. I wear dresses a lot in the summer, and some of mine are getting a little tired. So I'll still wear the heck out of them, but I would like some that aren't so tired, you know? All right, there we go. Phew. Looks clean, doesn't it? Nice. Okay. Where's our casing? Here is our casing. What time is it? It's not even 1 o'clock. This is going so quick. Get into the good stuff. Okay, this is the front. I'm going to hem this right now so I don't confuse them. I'm just going to turn back a little hem here. I allowed 3/4 of an inch. I don't really need to back stitch. It's going to get enclosed. And now this is another thing that I put on the grain. So let's check the length of this. Oh, I need to sew the center back seam. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Shem. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to stitch this down. I just, because I didn't put my center back on casing on the fold because my fabric situation, I didn't have enough to put it on the fold, and I wanted one color. I'd pick the green because that's what I had, and I love green, and there's not any green on the dress. I stitched it down so that, where's the camera? That the the draw cord won't catch as I pass it by there. So, all right, so let's go lay it out on the dress. I hope I really like the green. But I love green, and I only got green right here at the hem on the side seam and right there at the center back. That's it. I put it on the collar. I put the, well, I put what I got. It's kind of, we were at a, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit stage of the pattern selection. All right, so here's my, what do you think of the green? I think it's gonna work. Oh, look at this. But it really does, it doesn't highlight that they don't match, I think. Woo. Okay, that goes there. And I'm gonna just trim this. I left extra, remember? Because I wanted to be able to slide it up or slide it down. I could have just sewed these together, then trimmed it at the center front. That would have been a little easier. So let's see, we have a 1/2 inch seam here, and I think I'll leave like 1.5 inches there for the tie. Worst case scenario, I can just fix how much, you know, like make it wider apart right there if I want. All right, so let me trim this side now. Yes, Barbara. This is the casing. It's not the draw cord. I haven't made the draw cord yet. I just didn't have the, I just didn't make it yet. I will though. I'd forgotten about it, and then I decided that, oh, I'm probably not doing that today, so I don't need it right away. But then I forgot that I'm gonna have to sew this in backwards order. All right. Oh, thanks, Terry. Thanks for putting the guild link. Yeah, check us out. We're a quirky bunch, but we're very nice. All right, let's put my... And again, I'm going to top stitch this down. Don't you hate it when you're inserting elastic in a waist casing and you get caught on all your seam allowances? This is kind of what I'm preventing. It won't be that hard. Like, you know, I have a loop turner. It works great, but match that. Does anyone watch crime dramas? Specifically British ones. I watch a lot of British crime dramas. Okay, see you, Terry. I'm watching one right now, and it's really good. But oh my gosh, the cop is really aggravating. Like, she's the protagonist. Oh, I just thought I matched that. I matched that one really nice. That's the only one I matched. I'm gonna turn under both long edges now. I'm watching Marcella right now. I've made my way through many, because I had a lot of time that I needed to like cut and sew and put kits together for Sew Expo. So I ended up just kind of getting down a crime drama rabbit hole. Sometimes I go through phases where I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch this. It kind of sensationalizes it, and I don't like that. Right now I'm watching Marcella, and she is driving me crazy. But I like the story. I like the twists and turns. There's definitely holes in some of them. I'm like, what? Ooh, Barbara, you're right. I get to use my new toy. I think it's big enough. That's the drawback with that thing, is that you really need a large casing. So remember, if you were going to line your casing up with the seam, like you have a waist seam and you wanted to line it up, you can do that. I'm straddling the seam because of the visual effects I'm going for. So you're not too late, Anne. I started the dress. I'm sewing the dress kind of in a backwards order, so it looks like I've got more done than I do. But the dress is together and the pockets are on. I'm about to add the casing, but I haven't done the collar or the sleeves or this casing yet. Just trying not to burn my hands right now. I need to go from this direction. I'm not being very accurate on that side. I sort of want to use my hair marker. One Anna to an Ann. I was watching all those Harlan Corbin ones. Only one of them so far. I'm like, nope. I turned it off. I was like, nope. This is driving me crazy too. Oh yeah, because the female cop was driving me crazy. Life's too short, you know. Is she the cop, Nicola Walker? Because I love looking at her. Like, she is just perfect. You know what I mean? I think she's got like a really high level of symmetry. Like, I'm not about beauty and stuff like that. It's more like there's something about her that it's really hard not to stare at her. And I think I've thought about it. I'm like, maybe it's because maybe she's very, very symmetrical. That's my theory. I don't know. Is there anything to that? Like, is that a thing? Because, I mean, she's definitely a good-looking woman and all that. It's just more that I can't stop looking at her. There's something about her. It's very compelling. Oh, This is okay. I got some white showing here. I'm gonna get rid of that. I decided to go full green. Annika is a favorite and she was great in The Last Tango. Wait, she's in Last Tango in Halifax? Who is she in that? I've watched that long time ago. I watched that when it was coming out on PBS. Unforgotten. Okay, I may have watched that. I'll have to look. All right, do we have any more white showing? Ooh, Saremy, come on. This is not great here. Okay, I'm gonna fix this right here. You know, when you don't match your seam there, it makes it harder. You have less. You have less. There, okay, let's pull that down a little bit. Pull that up a little bit. It's okay. Thankfully, it'll be scrunched up with my draw cord, right? Right. That's what we tell ourselves. Backup plan. We like backup plans around here. And if oh, okay. I'm not the same person. What? I'm not the same person. Oh, okay. The farmer daughter. Oh, I loved that one, Mary Shetland. That was good. I was talking about Marcella, Amy, or were you talking about, let me scroll up. Maybe you were talking about someone else. You said you like Marcella, but you like the actress Nicola Walker and just about everything. So I assumed that Marcella is Nicola Walker. Can I just Google who this is really quick? We're at the Great Aunt Tessie portion. Oh, her, I love her. She's not in Marcella. You are thinking of someone else, Amy. Yeah, I've seen a lot of this. A lot of hers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, got it. No. Look for Trapped. It's made in Iceland. Oh, I think I watched that. Okay, so Trapped and Unforgotten. Okay, I'm gonna write these down. I need a piece of scrap paper, so I stop using my little note cards. We need a secretary. Trapped. Oh, I liked Vera. I watched that. What was the other one? Unforgotten, right? And okay. Thanks, you guys. All right. So let's get this symmetrical. Right? So I'm going to fold my dress in half along the waist here, just so I can make sure I put it the same amount. Why isn't that like right there? There we go. Line of Duty. I love Endeavor. I think there's more Endeavor now for me. I'm going to write that down. My mom just got into that, or I was telling her about it. I'm like, no, you have to watch Endeavor. Line of Duty. Do you not like crime dramas, Michelle? British ones? I mean, if you get into the like the Brits do crime dramas the best. The best. I don't like the way we do it. I never gotten into many of the ones here. Yeah. You can find many of these they're talking about on Netflix. I used to be a PBS Passport member too, but I literally went through everything in PBS Passport. And so I finally just let it lapse. So I was like, okay. And then they started coming out with new stuff again. And I'm not a Passport member. So it's kind of funny though. Like, it's hard to exhaust the masterpiece library. And I almost had for all the things I wanted. I remember I was watching Downton Abbey and telling my friends, do you guys watch PBS? Because there's a new series called Downton Abbey that's really good. And they were like, no, I don't really watch that. I'm like, you should try it because you guys like this kind of stuff. They didn't listen to me. And then, of course, it became this thing. And I was like, I told you guys. I told you. And they were obsessed with it. Now, Downton Abbey was very much good for the American population, I think, too. All right. Oh, I forgot. I have a raw edge right here in the front. Well, shoot. Okay, we have a solution for this. Because see, look, my casing is only going to go up to here. But right here, we need to back that up and put a regular seam. Okay, wait, what else have I missed here? Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, try it out. Yeah, it's a lot less guns and shootings. There's a lot more clever plot twists and stuff. But they have some pretty gruesome plots. Like, they are a dark people. Yeah, I think the guy who wrote that, I think it's Julian Fellows. He wrote this other series. God, I feel like it was called like Monarch of the Glen or something like that. And he ripped lines directly from that show and put them in Downton Abbey. I'm like, dude, this is not our first historical drama. We watch things. We have seen things. We have noticed this, but no one else noticed it. No one else mentioned it. Maybe people did. I didn't see them talking about it, but I thought it was funny. And I was like, am I such a PBS nerd or a British show nerd that maybe I should be watching less? I don't know. It's kind of funny. He knows how to write for an American audience, I think. Yeah, Monarch of the Glen was great. I liked it. I liked how, like, lighthearted in some ways it was, you know? Totally forgot. I can't believe I came up with that name, Anne. I can't believe that came into my mind. I haven't thought about that in years, and I remember trying to tell someone about it, and I was like, oh, I don't even know what to search for. I don't remember the actors. I don't remember anything. Okay, so here we go. I just pulled out a little bit of that, and so now I'm just going to reverse the seam just for the first part here. Happy Valley. Okay, keep mentioning this. I'm really bad with titles, so I have to write these down because I may have watched them and I don't know, so I'll go check. You know what's really funny about Marcella is that they're like, hey, a new season's out and you've watched this before. I'm like, I've not watched that before. And it looked like I had watched it before, like it was fully on like season 2. And I hadn't. And so I ended up smartly rewatching the first season. And I think what happened is my daughter was probably watching on my account. So, because sometimes I'm like, okay, it's been a few years, but I'll take a chance. I'll jump right back in on that show, see if I pick up and I can remember, because none of it sounds familiar right now. And I do. Like, usually it starts coming back to me. This one I had not watched, so. All the Creatures Great and Small. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you did? Shogun. God, Shogun. Oh, because there's a new Shogun. Oh, yeah, totally, Ellen. I loved Sex Education. That's definitely hands down one of my favorites. All right, so we're going to clip the seam. And flip it around, right sides together. Oh, I just took out this pin I need. Is this it? Is this where it goes? We won't trust that. We'll check it. Yes, Marcella, it's 2 L's and an A at the end, is on Netflix. Luther is another favorite for me. I loved Luther. I'll have to come up with more because you guys are good at the titles and I'm not so good with those. I really love the bad person in Luther, the first season, Alice. She's that character name is she's so good. That's Idris Elba, by the way. So I know that you guys will watch it if I say that. But Shogun, my mom read that book when I was like a kid. A kid. It's huge. I remember it sitting on the table. Big fat paperback she read. Okay. There we go. So now I have right sides together right here, and we'll stitch this. And we'll be able to hide the transition here in the seam. Oh, I really did this awkwardly, didn't I? Okay, so that one looks good now. So now I have a little transition. Oh yeah, yeah. Sherlock Holmes is really good. Is it called Sherlock Holmes? It's called Sherlock. It's called Sherlock. I know, Amy. I want to watch that show. I'm glad Michelle said it's good because it's kind of nostalgic for me thinking about my mom reading that. Let's put this pin over here. Sherlock is a little bit like, it's like TV candy, you know? I like Watson a lot. What about Midsummer Murders? If you like cozy, we can go to the cozy genre, like Miss Marple. Both iterations of Miss Marple on PBS are really good. I like both Miss Marples equally. They're different. They're both very different, and I really like them both. And Hercule Poirot is really good, and Midsummer Murders, it'll take a bit, like the first few to get into, but it kind of just like, it's so cozy and so seeps into your bloodstream. There's like 22 seasons, so if you want something that you just want to binge watch that's light and it's still really good, Midsummer Murders. Midsummer, yeah, just the show, but Midsummer Murders is a cozy one. It's not dark. Midsummer is, I think. I think it's different. Oh, the Durrells. Oh, that's right. You like the Durrells. The Durrells are kind of dark in a way. Not dark, but I started watching those, but they were kind of stressed. They stressed me out. Lupin, yeah. Oh, yeah, Lupin. I am saying that right. It wasn't French when I watched. Oh, that's the new one, Anna. I'm thinking of the one with Idris Elba. Came out a long time ago. It was really good. His name is Lupin in it. It's not the, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. There was a series, and then now there's Lupin spin-off movies. Yeah, exactly, Amy. Midsummer Murder is different from Midsummer. Yes, Ruth Wilson. Yeah, she plays Alice. Me too. She's the bad guy. I love her. Oh, hi, Studio Florentine. I'm curious, where in the garment are you, and why are you flipping sleeves? Okay. I am sewing this in a kind of a backwards order because I have a casing that I'm putting on the waist seam. And I have a waist seam here, so I'm putting a casing that's going to go over it like this so that it gathers up. So I decided that I would just put the raw seam inside the casing so it's nice and clean on the inside. But then I forgot that at the center front here, I need a little bit that's finished. That's why. So now we're caught up. I am back to sewing the casing on. I had to fix that little thing. So, and the casing is ready to go. I'm missing my pin cushion there. All right, we need to clear the decks. We've got a lot of dress going on here. I still have the sleeves and the collar to do after this. Look at all. See, I'm telling you. Cut on the grain, it unravels. Yeah, Inspector Morris, Endeavor is, okay, wait, someone connect the dots. I can never explain it correctly. Endeavor is the young version of Inspector Morris, right? Because Inspector Morris was a long-running series as well. And then Endeavor came out, right? Is that how, am I getting it right? Or is he the young version of Inspector Morris's assistant? Is that what it is? I can't remember. Inspector Morris was a little before when I started watching stuff. Like, it was actually a lot before. So I'm not as familiar with it, and I've never watched them. It's an older series, so. I don't use those heat rulers. I don't have any of them. They look really cool, but I just don't want one more gadget. But this would have been a good spot for that, to press this casing with the heat ruler. Okay, let's get this lined up a little better. Get that in there. Morse, Inspector Morse. Yes, that's it. Not Morris. Inspector Morse. Thank you, Amy. I knew someone would know, and I thought it was going to be you. I like him. Grant Chester's not too bad either, but he kind of stresses me out too. He makes poor choices, and it's not as believable for me. People who make bad choices stress me out. Like that show Weeds, I could not watch that past like the first season. I was like, no, this lady needs to grow up and make better choices. Rumful of the Bailey, I've heard of that. 11 Oversight and Untouchables, and I seen something else, and that's how I discovered Lupin. Oh, that's cool. That's cool when an actor brings us to something we may not have noticed before. All right, we're going to make it all the way to the front there. This is really, really satisfying. I'm just going to say. Except all these threads, man. Whew, lots of threads. Pull off most of them so they don't sneak out my casing. Look at that, so good. There are a lot of different Vickers, yeah. Is there, you mean besides the blonde dishy one? Who literally like smokes, drinks, and has the girlfriend that he shouldn't be with? Oh, interesting. Okay. I wonder if I saw Happy Valley. So many of you are talking about it. Like you've seen it, so. I feel like I'm going to run out of bobbin, but I have a newish bobbin in here. So if I finish this, well, okay, it's only one. I'm double checking my pockets so they don't fold up again. I really hope the pockets are in the right position because they are so integrated right now that I may have to just live with it if they're not. Ooh, you guys, look at that. Well, bam. Oh, Night Manager. That sounds familiar too. All right, how are we feeling? Are we feeling we should leave sleeves, draw cord, collar, center front hem for Saturday? This might be good. I think that's a good stopping point, but let's get the dress form and just see it on the dress form, right? Why not? Let's take this muslin off. I could keep going, but let's save something for Saturday. Since me coming up with something for Saturday will be way too much work. I'm excited to see this on the dress form. Oh, you know what I forgot? Actually, yeah, I should not finish this because you know what? I should let this hang up until Saturday. I'll probably have to take it up because it's on the bias. Okay, I'm having trouble looking at it. All right, here we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. It is pretty. I mean, you can see I matched the red, you know? So at least I tried. And the pink, see? And then, you know, when we have the draw cord in there, be more like that. It's so cute. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it hanging because my problem is that it'll probably get too long here in the armhole and it could in the neck as well. And usually what I do is I take it up in the shoulders. I've had to do this on other bias dresses. So we just need sleeves, which will look like this. We'll have a little sleeve. And then we have a collar. Like that. It's got kind of a not vintage vibe. I don't want to say vintage, but there's something about it. And then it'll gather up too. All right, Amy. Amy, you're a sports nut. I love it. goes to here like that. I wonder if this collar is too light. You can barely even see it. But yeah. It's a pullover, Barbara. I just couldn't do the center front seam before I did all of the casing. Okay, bye, Amy. So that's why we don't have sleeves or a collar yet. So yeah, I'm glad we're stopping here, and I've remembered the whole need to let it hang for a couple days. Yeah, see, Lean, I think it does kind of have that vibe, doesn't it? I love day dresses, so I am kind of guilty of that. Oh, I can see the beachy vibe too. Yeah, Deb, God, that actually reminds me of something. I think I know where you're going with that. Cool. Well, I can at least try it on too and see about the length, but I'll wait till Saturday morning, I think. Let it stretch. Cool. I love that we did, like for me, this is all the boring sewing. This wasn't boring at all on this dress, but like doing the collar and the sleeve. I like collars and the casings. I love stuff like that. So thanks, Ezio. Appreciate it. Okay, Barbara. All right, guys. Well, I'll be sewing part 2 on Saturday, and we'll finish it there. So thanks for coming today, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.